What are my best jazz guitar students doing? And what really works? I ask myself these questions to find out the few proven do's and don'ts that will transform average guitarists in really decent jazz players and decent jazz improvisers. In an effort for you to learn jazz on the guitar, you may wonder, and of course wonder, is there more to jazz than just progressions, scales, and chords? Am I practicing the right things? Is this making sense? Am I making progress, or will I make progress? In this video, I want to share the 4 basic things that virtually all my best jazz guitar students and the fastest growing students are all implementing their playing, and I'll show you ways as well so you can implement this into your own playing right away. Be sure to check the link in the description below to join me and hang out with hundreds of students on the best jazz guitar community in the world. It's called the Jazz Guitar Fellowship. It is free now, it's free forever as well, so you can rub shoulders with some of these guys that I mentioned that are really high performing. By the way, my name is Mark from Jazz Guitar Lessons. I've started to teach jazz guitar online in 2009, and I have helped thousands of students become really good at the fine art of improvising jazz, playing standards, comping, etc. As you can see in the link here, and in the description. So now let's get going with the stuff. Number 1, my best, fastest growing jazz guitar students are doing. Let's start with a story. What if you see this guy that's trying to learn to play, say, a sport like basketball? Could be a teenager, could be an adult learner. You go to the court, and day in, day out, this guy is there. He's practicing his dribbles, his drills, shooting hoops. Maybe he's even playing with a friend and passing. He's watching YouTube videos on how to dribble through obstacles like chairs and stuff, right? So this guy is really committed. You see him or her. And then the same person, a few days later, gets to a basketball court in the community, like at a local park. And his or her friends are going, hey, do you want to join us for a game? And the person goes, no. Why not? Well, there's just drilling I got to do. I have like 3 more hours of drills I got to do, and I want to shoot hoops, and I'm not really actually good enough to start and do that. It's like, what do you mean? No, come and join us for a game. Pick up basketball. It's going to be fun. Like, no, it can't be fun because I'm drilling. You get the picture. So lots of the people that get into jazz do, with all the best of intentions, drill a lot or too much. So a focus on technique, a focus on a lot of scales and saying, well, this is now a prerequisite. Now you got to do this before you actually do the sports. And this could not be farther from the truth, because my best, fastest growing students will actually play on songs a lot. There. And it's part of my coaching program. You can see the link in the description below if you want the recipe. It's called my 7-stage process, which is for free, of course. I give all the secrets. This is the way I learn new tunes when I come across new standards, and my students do that with amazing results. So don't get me wrong, the drilling still has a place. But the tip here, the main tip, is to become song-centric. The songs become 80% of practice or more, and then the drilling will take the place it needs, meaning I got to rehearse the scale more, this technique, because I'm trying to pass something on a song, right? Let's move on. Number 2, ever wonder how greats in their field become great, right? If I look at artists, I could be artists like visual artists, it could be musicians, sculptors, dancers, it could be people practicing their field like law or becoming amazing business people, or athletes. How did they get so good? You remember Michael Jordan in the heydays, like Chicago Bulls, right? There's this guy that worked with him, Tim Grover. After a game, went to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, best in the world, best in class, amazing player, trailblazer, did things no one has ever done before at his time. The coach would go to him, and he was his personal trainer, Tim Grover. Look him up. And we go 5, 6, or 7. That's a question. After every single game. 5, 6, or 7, Michael. That's a question for 5 a.m., 6 a.m., or 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. That is, regardless, if you had a good game tonight, if you won, if you lost, if it was a terrible disaster, if you got injured, if anything happened, 5, 6, or 7. So here's a commonality in some of my best students. They still get the feedback, right? My best students will submit videos and lessons and get feedback from me or from the community, and they will implement that feedback, same as the best in their field. I go and think about the Michael Jordans and the Pat Metheny's of this world. It's like everyone at the top of their game did it by following advice from coaches. We say for Pat Metheny, while he was young, it might have been Gary Burton, right? Not a bad coach to have when you're hanging out with Gary Burton around 19 years old, right? And of course, the rest is history. So that's the second tip. My best, the fastest growing people I work with, they're just really good at taking the feedback and thinking I'm never above feedback, and I'm never not good enough to have feedback. I'm never too good to have feedback. I can just have feedback to increase ever so slightly. Now, moving on to the third tip. Ever seen someone isolate themselves? Yeah, it relates to the basketball story, the guy that would go to the court and just dribble, but bear with me. Someone's trying to go, I want to do woodworking, and they isolate themselves. Or someone say, I'm going to learn how to make wine, or learn jazz guitar. Or some people say, I'm writing a novel, I'm going to shut myself off in a cave and just write the novel. Have you seen those guys? Yeah. So this is all good, and isolating myself from the world is typically not going to give the stuff, the information, and the push that we need in order to evolve to the next layer. So this is one thing I notice with my students, whether they participate in my coaching community or not, people will play with other people. Every Monday I have my Gypsy Jazz Jam. Cool, perfect. No politics, no BS, no like, Bob took a longer solo than me. Not that. The people that do the best, and that's the third tip, are within a community. And think about it, guys. This is the way to achieve anything at any regards, because the 12-step groups, the support program, whether it be churches or organized communities, these things are good for when things get hard, the circumstances get hard. And trust me, it's not if, it's when. Whether you're learning to do something worthwhile, you will encounter the challenges. Heck, myself, I struggled with scales for years. Yeah, little Mark had trouble with the G major scale. That's fine. I filmed a few videos. I saw my mentors. So my best students get this supportive environment and community. Super important, crucial, because then if there's a question, if there's something, I'm not isolating in my cave. I can always go, hey, guys, I've been doing this. What have you tried? And typically, especially if you hang out with us in the fellowship, link in the description, you see that, you're not alone. Like 95 people out of 100, 95% of people will have struggled with the same thing. And most likely when people have overcome these challenges, they're more than willing to share. So offering free mentorship just because. And this is what I've started to do myself in 2009. I started this YouTube and I went, look, I may be not top of my game, but I'm climbing the staircase and someone is a few steps behind me. I can sort of help them with their G major scale or G melodic minor, right? Link in description. So it's important to have a community. That's the third tip. Get it, do it, get involved with people. Even if it's scary, even if you have performance anxiety or you're scared that you're not good enough, it's going to pay huge dividends. Within my personal coaching, which is the Jazz Guitar Accelerator, that's how I call it now, I insist after 6 to 8 months that people get together with a band. At any rate, playing with someone is really, really important. All right, tip number 4. Are you guys familiar with crash diets? Yeah, crash diets is when people try to lose a bunch of weight on their body and they want to do it as fast as possible. And it's in the term, it will eventually crash. Statistically, it's been shown that people doing crash diets will regain all the weight shortly and probably a little more, leaving them even further off from their original goal or intent to lose the weight. So that's problematic, and I think a lot of us will do crash dieting in different things. It could be fitness, like, oh my god, I'm out of shape, I gotta go to the gym now 6 days a week. People will do it with relationship and family, like step on the gas and go to every birthday party and burn out. Or at work, burning out at work is very common. Guess what? My students do it with jazz guitar as well. And here's a common trait. The best performing, again, the fastest growing jazz guitarists that I work with, they have a sensible, no dogma approach. That's the takeaway. That's the fourth tip. The no dogma is, what if I'm at that end where I go, I suck? Well, this is no better than being here and going, no, I already know everything. So this is something I noticed, that we're here. My best students are sort of here. No, it's not always fun, and it can be a struggle and stressful and whatever. It's not everyone sitting in lotus and meditating. Of course not. But the eradication of dogma is one of the biggest propeller for people learning in my coaching programs. And I see this because instead of crashing and starting and crashing and starting, these guys are able to be consistent. So the consistency over a long time is better than doing a big push and then fall, big push, fall, etc. So a few examples of dogma: all theory. I want to know all theory before I play anything. Or I just play by feel and I hear and I play like my heart tells me what to play. How about both? I'm always doing both. As some of the guys I work with will tell you, when people ask me, I've been doing this, should I do that, or whatever, I just say, well, do everything. Why not? Like, why would you remove an option altogether if it's something that could work? That's healthy, that's sane, right? Lastly, G.A.S, Gear Acquisition Syndrome. That's also a thing that will keep us off balance. I have it, we all have it. We buy toys, right? I love toys. They have their place. The issue is in the dysregulated, unbalanced people, the G.A.S becomes an excuse for not practicing. We're saying, well, once I have that piece of gear, I'm going to finally have that sound, and then I'm going to be able to perform the standards, right? So no dogma. Let's eradicate dogma. Okay, let's do a quick recap of the tips I've given you so far. Number one, my best students, the one that grow the fastest, they're playing, will be playing lots of songs and not be obsessive about drilling and technique, etc. Number one. Number two, they get feedback and they implement the feedback either from coaching or community or whichever way. Number three, they have a supportive environment. Supportive meaning either people they play with or a community online or off of guitarists. And number four, we just talked about no dogma. Be somewhere balanced, somewhere in the middle. I have one final tip to give you, which is sort of a bonus, and it's something that affects all of us at all areas of our life. So what if there's this magic pill I could give you that could increase your relationships, could increase your status, your career, your personal life, it could increase your jazz guitar skills or any other hobbies you have. What's that? Well, of course, it's taking care of your physical health, fitness, general health, so working out, doing exercise 3, 4 times a week, depending on what the doctor tells you. And this is typically a thing that, you know, people will get a checkup from their doctor and go, oh, I've got the love handle and this, and my pressure says, oh my God, I got to start doing something for this. So my best performing students typically are pretty healthy. They're able to take care of themselves. If I take care of myself, I'm better able to take care of others. So this is an example. I'm healthy. I can shoot these videos. I can help my students on an ongoing basis. I can be helpful to my family, to my friends, etc. So get healthy, guys. It's a really simple solution. I talked about this on the blog a few times, and I'm not affiliated, but if you are in the US or Canada, I will highly recommend a coaching, especially for men. It's a year-long program. It's relatively affordable. It's called PN, for Precision Nutrition. I've done it 3 or 4 times. I'm done now. I'm doing my own things. But I was a finalist, yeah. I had like the underwear pictures and this stuff. But that's pretty important, and there's people of all ages that are doing it. So if you're into that, please check it out, Precision Nutrition. All right, so all of this stuff in this video is actually useless in a way, because even to implement tip number 1, which is playing on songs, if you don't know how to do it, everything I said in this video is not going to be useful. So I highly recommend you check out this other video in which I explain and go through my 7-stage process so you can master standards. So remember to implement the tips right away, but go check out that thing, because if you don't have a method or process to implement all the standards, you will stall. So you can also see the link in the description for the jazzguitarlessons.net/process doc. It's a long document in which I explained everything step by step. If you do what I tell you in this document, you will become a good jazz player. Of course, as it goes, it's not always easy to implement it alone, so make sure you join the community while you implement these steps. And in the community, we have demo videos and dozens of examples on actual standards and progressions, so you can implement the voicings, you can implement the scales and the improv. That said, I will see you soon in the next video. Take care.